If you're interested in music, and if you're not, I feel I should warn you, you have clicked on the wrong video, you've probably already seen the one called 4-Chord Song by Axis of Awesome, where it's demonstrated just how many songs use the exact same chord sequence. And maybe you like the chord sequence and would like to write a song with it, but you're a little bit worried about it sounding a bit cliched. Well, I have 3 quite interesting variations for you to check out today. Okay, first of all then, let's quickly establish what it is we're talking about. If you like your music with a little bit of theory, or you just don't like saying Axis of Awesome because, like me, you think the word awesome sounds stupid in your accent, you might want to know what that chord progression actually is. It's what musos might refer to as a 1-5-6-4. Which means we are moving from the root chord within a major key up to the chord built on the 5th degree of the scale, then to the 6th, then to the 4th, and then back around to the 1st. Might sound a little bit complicated, but it's all pretty simple major scale stuff. Let's, for example, take a C major scale. This would work with any, but C's nice and easy to think about because it's all natural notes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C. So our root chord within the key of C major is going to be C major. Then the 5 chord is going to be the chord built on the 5th degree of the C major scale, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a G. Then the 6th degree of the C major scale is an A note, and that is going to give us an A minor chord. The 4th note of the scale is F, which is an F major chord. So a 1-5-6-4 in the key of C major would be C, G, A minor, F. And you're probably already singing along with your song of choice. But let's look at a few of those variations. Right, first of all then we have Motorcycle Emptiness by the Manic Street Preachers, which goes a little something like this. Now, obviously the lead riff demands quite a bit of the listener's attention there, but let's listen to what's going on with the chord progression underneath. Probably sounds a little bit familiar. Now, Manics were a little bit unusual in terms of British bands in the 90s, in that I don't think they would have particularly balked at being compared to, for example, Journey. But nevertheless, they haven't gone for the full 1-5-6-4 action here. What's happening? We're in the key of E major. So if we were doing a 1-5-6-4, that would give us the following chords. E, B major, C sharp minor, A major. But if you listen again, you'll notice there is a little bit of a twist on that. And it's on that very first chord change, where we are not moving from the E to the B. What's actually happening is we're moving from the E to what's known as an E over D sharp. So essentially it's just the bass note in the chord moving down, which gives it a much more scrappy indie kind of a feel than the kind of the classic rock ballad of going from all the way to the 5 chord. But we are getting what you might refer to as a similar harmonic function with that E over D sharp, because that D sharp note is contained within the key of, within the chord of B. So we get a similar kind of descending effect by moving from the E chord to the B chord. But it's not quite such a big change in this song. So a subtle little variation, but does breathe a little bit of new life into it. Okay, next up we have There She Goes My Beautiful World by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, which goes a little something like this. Which maybe not quite what you were expecting, because we're not going anywhere near a 1-5-6-4 quite yet. But this is how it starts, and this is what's maintained all the way through the verse. And we are actually in the key of C minor, or perhaps more accurately C Dorian. Because what's happening here is we are just vamping, moving between a C minor chord and an F major chord. Now the F major chord has an A natural note in it, which is not in the scale of C natural minor. It is, though, in the scale of C Dorian. So that is a classic Dorian chord change. C minor, F major. So, as I say, we are not reminding anyone of any Axis of Awesome quite yet, but let's listen to what happens in the chorus. Okay, so our chorus has basically a vintage 1-5-6-4. We have C major, G major, A minor, F major, and then another little passing through G major before back to C. So what has happened here is we have modulated, we've changed key from the verse to the chorus. We have done this via that F major chord that you may remember was part of the verse riff. Because F major is chord 4 in the key of C Dorian, it is also chord 4 in the key of C major. So it's a perfect pivot chord to take us between the two key centres. So we have moved from C minor being our kind of home base to C major in the chorus. So we've changed to the parallel major key. See also Perfect Day by Lou Reed and While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles. So it's this kind of unexpected turn that I think helps avoid it sound cliched, because that suddenly sounds so triumphant and kind of unexpected after the sort of enigmatic backwards and forwards between C minor and F major in the verse. And so a well-placed cliche can be really, really effective if the listener genuinely isn't expecting it. And last up today we have On Melancholy Hill by Gorillaz, which goes very much sort of like this. We are in the key of D major here, so our 1-5-6-4 would go D, A, B minor, G. And that is pretty much exactly what we've got. D, A, B minor, G, and then quick move back up to A, and then G, A again, before coming back to D. So rather like in There She Goes My Beautiful World, there is that little move up at the very end to the 5 chord to take us back home again. But in essence, we have a very traditional 1, 5, 6, 4, almost. You could kind of describe this as Damon Albarn's songwriting approach in something of a nutshell. We have something very, very comforting and familiar, that chord sequence, but it is combined with something very, very unusual. Have another listen, see if you spot it. What's going on there is we have this repeated cycle of 5 bars, which is very unusual. Normally in pop music you're dealing not just with 4 chords, but 4 bar cycles. But this one, because it has that extra G, A at the end, we have a sequence that adds up to 5. Listen. So even though it's such a familiar kind of a chord sequence, we never feel like we're completely at rest. We're kind of kept on the edge of our seat throughout the whole song, just by that being so structurally unusual. And there we go, a few ideas for you next time you're writing a pop smash hit. Really hope there was some stuff of interest there to you. If so, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and I'll see you again with something else very soon. Cheers!